Hey guys, we have Mr. Ranganathan bro with us, who is pursuing his BCA Cybersecurity second year in university in Chennai. He's a proven cybersecurity expert. He also involved in bug bounty hunting activities since his 15 years, which is since like 2020. He also involved in securing the companies like Apple, Cognizant, and many more top brands. Welcome, Mr. Ranganathan bro, with us today.
Hey bro, hi, pleasure being here. I hope you're having a great day.
Today we'll talk more about Ranganathan's bro journey in the entire world of cybersecurity and ethical hacking, and what are the resources available to someone who wants to pursue a career, pursue a passion in the area of cybersecurity. We'll go deep into what are the Mr. Ranganathan bro took in his all the way journey. We'll also deep dive what to do, what not to do, and what are the byproducts in the entire journey so far in his life. So Ranganathan bro, quick overview about you,
Hey
like
bro.
from where all this journey started into the world of cybersecurity, ethical hacking.
This started with me being 14-year-old, genuinely out of my curiosity. It's not because my parents told me to do this or anything like that. Though, I had great support from my family, obviously, when I started and even now. Just purely out of curiosity, I had interest towards technology, since my childhood. And I saw a random YouTube video of a cybersecurity expert. I was someone with zero experience, and he had around 15 years of experience. I saw his YouTube video, an interview of him, and I made a DM to him asking what should I do to become like. So at that time, I just started.
So imagine you are the kid who is not aware before the fellow cybersecurity expert, and all you have is a blank whiteboard or a white paper. If you want to advise the candidates who are watching it now, what equipments they need. Do they need any fancy gadgets? Because nowadays it's more vastly pronounced. If you talk about hacking, sometimes like a mini yellow device and say that, okay, I'm hacking the car or I'm hacking one that can set, some
Yeah,
wrong expectation.
yeah,
But if
Flipper Zero.
someone, yeah, so if someone wants to start fresh as you, what are the basic equipments they need to begin with?
Maybe if you're a beginner, you might not need any actual pen testing devices. Let's say for Flipper Zero, you don't need that, or you don't need a high-end Wi-Fi pen testing device or anything like that. Maybe you just need a basic laptop and a good or an average internet connection with a lot of passion and interest towards technology and cybersecurity. This is what you need if you're starting as a beginner. I'm not talking about Node MCU or any other hardware. We just need a lot of interest towards technology, because I think that's what will keep driving you throughout the journey rather than the fancy equipment. Even if you couldn't afford a high-end laptop, anything basic won't be enough, but you might need it in the future for sure.
So if you watch any sci-fi movies, always the hacking comes with a black screen and running commands and stuff. So when you say laptop, do you have any OS preference from you, Ranganathan, like which one to start and which one to focus?
To be honest, I just use a Windows machine. I have a couple of Linux running on virtual machines. So for me, I think this is okay. But when it comes to hacking or cybersecurity, people prefer not to use Windows due to the compatibility. Linux is being mostly preferred since it's open source. The comfort given by Linux, the support, and many other things is commonly
Any specific OS criteria on the Linux? Because there are many like
Kali Linux, but it's just one more Linux flavor which comes with a Kali wallpaper and a few other tools pre-installed. I think that is not really something which you need. You could customize anything for your preference. It's just the Linux command line that you're going to use for the time.
Thanks, Ranganathan. Also, if you take any technology you want to upskill, it can be programming, it can be networking, it can be DevOps. There is always a flow diagram to learn or a roadmap per se to start with. For example, if you start with networking, you generally start with the OSI layer, like layer 7 are there, and then you start from the physical and then you go till application layer of stuff. Same way, if you talk about a DevOps, there is an infinite loops diagram which talks about like from the code source and so on. And same way in terms of programming, you start with if cases and stuff like that. So if someone wants to start with the cybersecurity field, is there any such kind of roadmap to say like you start this in a way, because it can be multiple tools involved, but in generic there should be some common mechanism to gather together in a flow.
Maybe like, let's say anything you take. I'm gonna say want to hack into a computer. Okay. First thing first, like you really have to learn how a computer works. Let's start from the OS. Let's start from even basic. Let's start with the hardware basics. If you want to hack into a computer or if any big company's infrastructure, you really have to learn how the hardware works. Let it be about the processor or the components inside it. Let's go for each and every component that you see in a computer machine. And it's more about booting OS. You have to learn the architecture of it, how it works. That is really important. Hacking equipments. Let's probably something like a keylogger. Keylogger will be collecting your keystrokes. If I have to write an exploit for a keylogger, or if I have to do anything related to that, I need to learn how the keyboard works or how the HID devices works, anything like that. So it's all about the basic. Whatever big technology you take, it all comes to the basic part. Let's take hacking into an Instagram account. You have to be learning about Instagram works. Before that, how the application works. Let it be an app, how the Android app, how the internet works, networking. And even before that, you have to be learning about the softwares and the OS operating system, maybe Windows or Linux, Mac, the permissions, system design, storage, policy.
To hack something, you need to know the entire path. It's like a thief entering a known house. And
Let's say if I need to hack into a network, people will me bro how to hack a Wi-Fi. Before you hack into a Wi-Fi, you need to learn what is networking. You need to how the network is functioning, how a router or any other devices in the network communicates, what packets, what are the protocols. If I hack into, let's say, like if you have WPA or whatever the security system, how it's being cracked, or how imagined in your mind. So everything comes to the basics again. Maybe like this website called Hackers Arise Networking. So we have this website called Hackers Arise. This website contains more data, more information about networking, which is specifically more required for cybersecurity and ethical hacking. Beyond that, you have tons of things again. We were talking about network protocols. We were talking about network devices. And let's take, we have a lot of transmission medium. We have different cables involved. Probably if I'm going to hack into some NFC, or we have this kind of technology which you see in POS machine and card machines. Probably if you're going to hack into that, you really have to learn if you need unlimited money or whatever crazy hack that you have in your mind. We have NFC, we have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth.
how I am approaching this, because I'm not from cybersecurity, but so far what
Yes.
I've said is each individual component itself is hackable, and to know first the target where you want to hack or where you want to protect it as a white hacker, and then go deep of it, how it works behind the scene. Like if you want to protect the Windows or Linux, then you go behind the scene and then choose a priority based on your goal, where you want to protect and where you want to excel. So now ask us the next question. So if you are a programmer, you can build your portfolio for the job by building websites, right? Whereas as a hacker, it's a bit hard to prove your skills, because if you can take part in bug bounty, but already experts would already close many topics, right?
No, not
So
really.
how fresher can upskill and then prove to the industrial standard that they have the knowledge on it?
We'll really talk about that.
Yeah.
But I think maybe talk a little bit more about the roadmap which we asked.
Okay, sure.
We also talk about cryptography, which different algorithms, let it be, symmetric or asymmetric, and we have many keywords like encryption, hashing, signatures, encoding, and we also have many protocols here again. People has an assumption websites with HTTPS are secure and HTTP is not secure. We have the SSL certificate, but that doesn't mean that the HTTPS websites really have any security vulnerabilities. Again, comes with the need for learning programming. Let's say we have a particular which has some backend, some SQL database. So obviously we have potential attacks like SQL injection, which can be used to gain user database, or either unsanitized user input or insecure code, again that can cause vulnerabilities which are pretty old, probably like admin access or anything comes to mind. Before that, you really need to learn. On the other tab, I'm having this networking windows and other stuff. Everything is again built in a website. Will have a HTML and that will have a CSS, which will be people will HTML is not really important. Again, you need to learn how something is built and build on something. Before you hack into websites, you have to go and build websites. So let's say when it comes to JavaScript, we have PHP, which is essential maybe in reviewing source code. We have probably automation, Golang, and we have Bash, Python. We have these programming languages that should be learned. So it's not programming is not important. Programming is very essential. We also have CPP or anything. These might be pretty old, like running on OOPS and other things. When it comes to if you take PHP, like you need Apache XAMPP to be running it in the backend. You have a environment. That environment will be cloud. This is more about your part. Let's say if I'm hosting a SaaS product, we have cloud, and you need to learn the cloud
Best practices over there.
computing tech like AWS, GCP, or Azure. Most of them same things. It's just that the names are different. Maybe you call it as a folder, and here you call it as a bucket, or you call it as S3 or storage. So just
Yeah.
keywords differs mostly.
I always say like it's similar to Apple and Android. Like for the end user, at the end it's
Yeah.
meant for the same purpose of calling and messaging, and just the terminology
Mhm.
changes.
Yes,
So
yes, exactly.
yeah.
AWS might be pretty affordable, but not the
Right.
but comparing to GCP or Azure, they have different cost structures. So again, you
So,
have to be learning them. We have the IAM,
mhm,
identity and access management, or we also have the essential roles and policies that has to be properly when it comes to AWS and things like that. Maybe any other insecure code, any insecure parameters, anything which any vulnerable code, again it can be exploit and drain out the AWS metadata or any AWS credential or
got it.
so.
Just to be on the same page for the audience as well, because now we
Yes.
are talking about something sounds more like a full stack profile. We are talking about all the cloud, we're talking about programming, you are talking about networking. So do they need to be expert in all, or in is there any way, like for example, if you talk about DevOps as an example, since I'm from that field, even in DevOps we talk about all, but we just focus on automating the thing. So though each thing whichever we are pointing out has a wide breadth, but we just go into a single motive of automation, or uh, limiting the manual effort when we are doing the
Mhm.
same task again. So is there any specific metric to consider when it comes to cybersecurity or ethical hacking in all the metrics which we are listed here? I believe, is it security alone or anything else to be
Okay,
considered?
let me put it this way. It's not like you don't need to learn them. Again, when you take a net, if you take Burp Suite and we have all these HTTP request and response which are being coming inside and going out. If you take Wireshark, we are in a Zoom call and we'll have like all the UDP packets, TCP packets going on, and we'll have various level of encryption. If you open a Wireshark right now, these are literally basics, and if you don't, if you kind of neglect them, when you try to get into an interview or when you try to go for a corporate job, it's going to be really hard, if you don't understand the basic things. And let's say you work in a company, and you cannot just simply git clone some open source tools in the company's internal system. You might be asked to automate. Obviously you talk about automation, and probably if you're working in a company and they really don't encourage you to download or install any random tool from GitHub and get the stuff done. You might be asked to code by your own self. And I think that's why we talk about the essential of learning things and learning various stuff. It's not that companies they don't use it, it really varies and it really depends, but I'm talking about the necessity of them. So obviously it's very necessary. And at the end of the day, if you'll be still using someone else software, someone else technology, that's more like being a script kiddie. Obviously there will be necessities to developing your own stuff. So of course we have to be expert in everything. It's not like, let's say, HTML or CSS or any other stuff. If you really don't know the basics and you just know only the basic, when you try to climb the corporate ladder, these things will be put on the table, and that will be a question mark. So obviously that's going to be necessary. And after these things we would be going a little more about the web application security, and we'll have cloud, Android, and cloud security part.
Mhm.
And we have digital forensics, and we have incident response. It just keep going on. We have this trade called Quote Figure. Some of them are paid, some of them are free. This one is open source and they're paid. We have a lot of resources. I just open Google, just simply search for
Each keyword which are written for sure. And
search for Android security resources. This one is a nice resource. Maybe I need to learn more about that. We have Medium blog. So we have various resources. At the end of the day, we will be focusing more on Medium, GitHub, Twitter, and other platforms. You might really don't know Twitter is an amazing place to learn more, especially about cybersecurity. Let's say we have this SQL injection, and I'm just searching in Twitter for SQL injection bypass. Twitter is an amazing platform, especially for cybersecurity. You can network with a lot of other fellow cybersecurity people from the same industry. So let me show this.
you can share the reference profile to me, Ranganathan. I will post it in the
So there is
description.
really no single profile. We have Kizar who's shared some things on SQL injection, and we have PT Swam. We have this other person, Godfather, or he's literally the Godfather. He's an amazing security researcher. We have the other person, we have Tushar Verma. She's an amazing researcher. So we have a lot of people who is continuously sharing every resource on Twitter. You just need to learn how to search for it, how to go get it. That is what is more needed.
So we are nearly ending up to for the first session. So since you're already pursuing a degree in cybersecurity, and whatever you listed, it's obviously like it looks more like itself need of a degree or the one. Do you find the relevancy in the current curriculum so that if someone wants to do a specialization in
So that's what, bro.
cybersecurity?
Like,
Mhm.
degree differs from the corporate world.
Right.
You cannot expect a single degree to be teaching everything.
Mm-hmm.
What I mentioned here is just like 10 or 20%. Cybersecurity is more than that.
Right.
So, you cannot expect a degree to,
Cover
teach you
everything.
everything.
True.
Yeah. So I'm not saying degree is not important in other
Mm-hmm.
way. Obviously, degree is important. Don't skip the degree. Don't be like, I'll do bug bounty and on dropout. Don't do that. Degree is important. At the end of the day, everything is a learning. People will be like, let's not go for these things, bro. Android, cloud security, forensics, everything written okay. Hardware basics, OS, networking, cryptography, programming. These things will be really covered in a university degree. If you take BTech, BCA, BSc, and you will have one syllabus for Java, C, Python, networking basics will be there. There will be cryptography papers. Some universities have papers on cybersecurity and ethical hacking, information security. So universities, it will be basics. University is a good thing for basic, but it's not only necessary for today's world. You need more beyond that. When it comes to cybersecurity, you can do proof of work like writing blog or doing podcast or interview video like these. Share your knowledge. Go and write on Twitter and LinkedIn. You can make videos. You can do bug bounty on other hand, but it can be quite competitive. You can play CTF. You can host CTF as a team. So obviously, your proof of work can be done for sure.
Thanks for your time, Ranganathan. So hope people got the
Thank you so much.
clarity, like from where
It
to
was a
begin at
awesome.
least, and what are the things to be at least Google further to get into the world of cybersecurity, and it can be kicked down.
Simply one thing, like it's just going messaging someone. Obviously, you can do that. I did the same. Just know how to message someone and maintain the DM.
Right.
So we have Google, YouTube. They are best friends. Just go and do it.
Thanks a lot, Ranganathan, on your weekend time. And
Thank you so much.
right, audience, ask your question in the comment section. If possible, we'll do a follow-up with session with Ranganathan on the same. Thanks all for
Sure.
your time.